nothing over music. John, are you ready? Ron, are you ready? Jose, let's go!
Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still. Yeah, all season long we're gonna keep the garden live. Let me introduce you to New York, starting 5. Listen to the podcast, like it and share it. What highlights of RJ, Broadway, Barrett. The question is, what kind of offense we gonna run, son? It doesn't matter, we got Jalen Brunson. Let him drive the lane, you know that we stopping them. Welcome to the block party, Mitchell Robinson. You need a deep shot, call Evan Fournier. Look behind the 3-point line and find him over there. And trust, there's nothing we can't handle. If things go left, we call Julius Randle. Look all the way up and see OB topping. And NY, it's good to see your IQ dropping. Hit the defender with a hezzy, he froze. Classic, vintage, D-Rose. You wanna see fans do? Tell me what the bet is. Human highlight, you gotta keep your cam on Reddish. You can't handle the beef, then why start? And make sure you tune in to catch iHeart. Put the Knicks on the New York Times with the vets and the youngins like Quentin Grimes. Run with us or run from us, it's time to pick sides before I end up waving the deuce like McBride. Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still. Freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.
What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to SKF Weekly. You see it, Ron, John. We back, baby. Let's go! 4-game win streak. Let's go!
Damn, you forgot about me, though.
Oh, and my fault. And I'm sorry. Let's not forget Jose's back as well. Let's go!
No! Nice. That's an intro.
Ooh. Okay, I'm winded in my old days. That's it for me. This has been a great show. Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate y'all. I'm out. Yeah, man. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm good. Excited to be here, man. We're finally fully loaded. Everyone's here today. We got a full jam-packed show for us today. I can't wait to get it started, man. What we got to talk about, man?
Yeah, man. First off, shout out to the chat. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Craig is in the building. Mets, Knicks fans, let's go. What's good? Steph is in the building. Not BK Steph, not MBK Steph, not Dope Soul Steph, although she is back today. Shout out to Steph, the queen. This is Steph, the dude. What up, Steph? Appreciate you. Wonder Woman is here. Appreciate you. And yeah, Steph, you're right. He said, can you take Evan Fournier out your starting 5 intro? Can't do it.
I know.
You never know what's going to happen. Got to let it rock for the season.
Telling you.
At least I wasn't the only one. I wasn't the only one
Right?
that pointed it out.
You know what's funny
never
though?
know.
When we pulled the clip to start the season off, we pulled that from the PlayStation game. You know that, right? That's
Oh,
from
really?
the PS.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was from. So we ripped the clip and we was like, all right, this is gonna be the starting five, right? Because it was, and then it quickly shifted. So
Hey, this is
it's one of those things. You know what I mean? All-Star break. We'll try to change it up for All-Star break. We'll see what we can do.
there you go. Shout out to Wesley Robinson. Was good. Salute. Appreciate you. Strong Island in the building. Dwayne Dennis is in here. What's going on? Salute.
What's going on?
Yes.
Salute.
Yeah, man. So listen, guys, Knicks have won 4 in a row. I mean, we can't be mad at that. That's a beautiful thing. They've been playing some good defense. They've been holding their opponents to a little under 100. One game they got to 100. But, for the most part, they've been playing incredible defense. And the rotation's been 9-man. It's been shortened. The right pieces are in there for a lot of Knicks fans. We think the right pieces are in there. Julius Randle's been playing great. RJ's been playing better. Brunson's been playing so-so. Actually, it's funny. These past 4 games, as RJ's been playing better and Julius is playing lights out, Brunson's been struggling. It's interesting. But yeah, it's all been a very interesting week, and we're going to touch on some of these games and do our normal recap, break down a couple things, get into our predictions, the usual spiel. But yeah, and then also in the midst of all that, probably going to talk about 2 things that most Knicks fans aren't going to be happy with. But I think, sometimes you can't forget the big picture. So we're going to get into it. Listen, don't shoot the messenger for giving you guys the message, all right? I'm just saying.
Hey, man, I wanted to ask you, Ron, how excited are you to see Deuce and Grimes play the amount of minutes they've been playing? Because this has been your calling this entire season. Like, you were hoping to see this.
This is unbelievable, bro. I'm really excited. Very happy to see these guys play, and I know that they're making an impact. And you know what they have. You know what I mean? You know what they give you. You know what Deuce can do on the defensive end. You know his limitations offensively, but you don't have to look to him for that because you got other guys on the floor. You got an orchestrator. Randall's been doing a lot better with regards to that stuff lately too. RJ has been playing a little smarter, not making as many turnovers, bad decision-making with the ball. So guys can kind of still coexist and work together, and Deuce doesn't have to have the burden of having to be a facilitator. It's not a liability to me. And then Grimes has just been fantastic. Grimes has been so good on defense, so active. His impact has been fantastic for the rest of his teammates. Like, I think Grimes has been huge.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Especially with seeing that they cut down on the amount of players that are going to be seeing minutes on the court. His impact is impressive, to say the least. He's been able to just show up that, or shore up that position where it was sort of a question mark this entire season. At some point they thought, Fournier was going to come in and just, pick up where he left off and was going to be, impactful on the offensive end, but wasn't. And then, they moved him, or he got injured, and then it was something like that. I don't know if they just completely dropped him off. If I can remember correctly, they completely removed him from the starting lineup. Then they were sort of playing, allowing Cam to get some minutes because Grimes was injured. And then Cam played well. He had some moments. And then, soon after that, he was completely removed, which is what we're seeing right now. And there's a lot going on there as well that I'm sure we're going to touch on. But, he was impactful with some games, and Grimes coming back in once Cam was injured and getting the second opportunity to win that starting nod, and hasn't looked back. And Ron, make sure we go ahead.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I'm thinking like the same thing. It's interesting to see what's going on with this whole situation. And unfortunately, before we get into like actually what took place in the game, unfortunately Jalen Brunson got hurt in this last game.
That's right.
And so now there's gonna be that whole thing like, what is Tibbs gonna do? You know, what's the next domino that he might insert into the rotation? And I was just on Knicks and Bruises with Tony Crow, and we were talking about that. And one of the things that we were discussing was who might be the person that steps up. I personally think it's going to be Derrick Rose. I think if just looking at what's happening, he's a point guard. Jalen Brunson is a point guard. He went down, and I just feel like he's going to be the next person up. Now, for whatever reason, if he's not, I went out on a limb and said maybe Fournier comes back into the lineup, because when I look at Fournier, he was a starter. He got demoted to the bench, and then as Cam started to, as you said, when Grimes got hurt and Cam started to rise and get more minutes, Fournier just got totally removed from the rotation. But he's been pretty much a model citizen, hasn't been making a big deal. He's been taking it like a professional. So I think if there was anybody that they might want to, introduce back in, at least for right now, it might be Fournier. Plus, look, I mean, the dude is still making 18, 19 million on the bench. So I just could see them bringing him back in.
And then keeping Grimes on the court with him, sort of playing the combo 1-2 guard.
Well, what I would do is I wouldn't put him back in necessarily to the starting lineup unless
to the bench.
It would be the bench, and I would insert either Quickly it would have to be Quickly back into the starting lineup, because I don't think Deuce could do it, and I don't know if that makes sense, right? But you did bring up, that's not a far-fetched thing. That's not a bad idea, because the fact that Julius has been a little bit better with what he's doing on the court, facilitating a little bit more and bringing the ball up, I could see them, Tony had mentioned this on the show, having Grimes be the pseudo point guard. You could have Fournier in the starting lineup as the 2, and Grimes could because he does have point guard skills. He's just got to kind of bring the ball up and move it around like he normally would. He doesn't have to do too much. So you could do that too.
I hear there's so many different options they can go with. I just don't want to see them. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see Fournier touch the floor anymore. Not in the Knicks jersey. And I don't want to. And to be honest, I don't. If there's anyone I think Quickly should get the starting nod. And then, between Cam and I know Cam's they got issues with Cam right now, but it's either going to be Cam or Rose. You know what I mean? You have to play one of the 2 guys, because it doesn't make sense to bring in Fournier at this point in time, right? Like he hasn't played a game as almost his entire season, right? Like he played maybe a handful of games. So what's the point of getting him back in this rotation, especially if you're trying to move him, right? You don't want his stock to get worse. You want it to be where it's at. There's still teams out there right now that are looking at him as a valuable option for their team. So just keep him there, keep him there. People know what he's making. They know what he can do. And then, get him out of here the first chance you get. And as far as Cam, if you're not playing him, might as well get rid of him too, right? Get something back for him. So maybe package them both out in order to get something back. But I think I think what's going to happen is that we're gonna end up being that this season. Like hopefully Brunson doesn't get injured, right? And if he doesn't get injured for a long period of time, then we won't have that trouble that we're running into right now. But I think at some point, if he's out for an extended period of time, we got to make decisions. The front office got to make decisions in order to, get past whatever the issue they have with Cam is right now, because we're gonna need him. We're definitely gonna need him.
I don't know, man. I mean, to me, it's silly. I don't know if they will. I don't know if we'll ever see Cam lace him up and get on the floor again, because I don't know what's going on over there. It's weird stuff. It doesn't make any sense. And this would be a great moment to kind of put him back in the mix. The other thing is, I don't want to take away from what's already happened, because it's been 4 games of the Knicks playing very good defense and showing a lot of effort. But I just feel like, imagine how much better we would have been if Cam was included in this mix as well. Like I think that would have just made us that much better. But
There are moments. There are moments where you would be able to see him being a part of the mix, right? When
mhm,
you're, especially when RJ was not going well, to have had Cam as an option off the
mhm,
bench would have been ideal.
yeah,
But again, this is a team that's coached by Tibbs, and Tibbs gets stuck in his ways. It was surprising to see him go into an open rotation of 10 players I think he was playing at one time. He even went 11. And it was interesting to see because there were games that we were competitive, and then there were games that we got blown out. And I still see that for our future. We just happen to get teams at the right time during this stretch. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And I feel like we're going to run up against teams that are formidable playoff contenders, and we're still going to struggle, regardless of whether you go 9 or you go 11. We're still going to struggle because what our deficiencies are in the shot selections, you know what I mean, that our players make or decide to shoot versus their intensity. Because I think their intensity is there. It's just they choose to shoot bad shots or poor shots or well defended shots versus making the extra pass, which you'll see a lot more of currently in these last 4 games that we've played.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think we definitely still have some stuff that we got to continue to build on. It's promising to see them doing better on the defensive side, giving the effort. It's nice to see Grimes and Deuce being injected into the lineup and really making an impact. Although, I would love to see what happens when these guys start to deal with a little bit more adversity, tougher teams, or maybe when Julius doesn't have the shot going, because Julius has been carrying them for these last 4 games.
Oh
So
yeah,
how do
100%.
how do they interact when Julius doesn't have it going? And how does
Right,
Julius play? Does he do what we've seen Julius do in the past, where okay, my shot's not falling, but I'm going to give you assists, I'm going to give you the rebounds? Does he continue to
right,
do that, or
right.
does it get a little hairy?
Yeah,
So we'll see. I think it's going to be
it,
very
it'll be
interesting.
it'll be telling depending on if Jalen loses, misses a lot of time, right? That would
Mm,
really be telling like what sort of Julius we're going to be having. Is he going to revert to the old ways, his old, bad habits, because he feels like he has to be the focal point, or will he be okay with being sort of you know, a go-to option when necessary? Um, it all depends. It all depends. It's sort of a wait and see for right now. Um, and I think Derrick Rose, right? The only reason why he didn't touch the floor at some point was he injured his toe, right? Or something like that. And then soon after
well,
he got injured, then
yeah.
he was, just pulled from the starting lineup because Tibbs decided to shorten the lineup.
Yeah, basically, that's exactly
Right.
what took place. It's kind of like he gave Tibbs a moment to think about something because of the little injury to the toe, and then Tibbs took it from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all pretty interesting, man. I don't know, like uh, I'm not mad at it because we've seen it's been working, but you know, sustaining it this way and not playing guys, it's interesting. It's
Yeah, I mean,
interesting.
at some point, you're gonna have to make a decision around these players, or they're gonna be around for the future with this team, which is one of the reasons why maybe weeks ago I was like, Fournier no longer belongs on this team. We know that.
Hmm.
So automatically he's a guy who needs to find a new home. Now, if Cam is the same thing, if just lost any interest in Cam being a part of this team in the future, then find a place for him to go that makes sense for both parties, right? Both for
Right.
him and for us. You got to make that right decision and the right move. Um, and if you need to package someone like Rose because of his tenure, right? See if there's a possibility to get him where he wants to be. right? Like there are options. There are teams that are still could still use Rose as an option for them. You know, Lakers being one of them. Chicago wouldn't mind having him back. There are a few teams out there. So figure out what makes sense. You know, pull the trigger and then see what comes of it. But
I'm with you on that. That makes sense
just
to me.
for me, don't hand them off for a second round pick. I think all these three are more valuable together than a second round pick. You know.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. That makes sense. Shout out to the chat once again. We see you guys. Thank you for being here and rocking with us on this very jam-packed, busy Monday with Knick content. Thankfully, we've got a little bit of a break the last couple Mondays. There hasn't been any Knick games, so we've been able to get our content out and get some more viewership. Appreciate you guys. The love is always there. Shout out to Cormega in the building. What's good, Cormega? Almighty Finesse is here. D is in the building.
Salute.
Keith Turner is here. And Sherwin is in the building. What's good?
What's going on?
Oh, well, anyway, okay. So Sherwin is, he said, good evening. I normally turn off the chats with the negative narratives that are not factual about Randle starts. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're tuned into this chat. So that's good. And let's see. Okay. All right. I see where you're going. Yeah, Sherwin Randle says Randle is not a good defender, is as far from the truth as possible. In 2021, Randle was the 6th best defender in the NBA. And in 2022, he was the 18th best. Yeah. So the thing is, Sherwin, and it's not a knock on Julius Randle. No one says that Julius Randle can't defend. What people say is Julius Randle looks like he doesn't want to defend out there. There's been plenty of times where we see Julius Randle just on the court and guys are going by like he's on the freeway and the cars are going. Like, you know, he just looks like he is a little lost or is not active where he should be. Well, one of the other things, the misconceptions, misnomers that I always like to say because it's very true, Julius Randle is, when engaged, one of the better defenders at his position in the league. At his position as far as being in the paint, dealing with power forwards or centers, he's a really good defender. The issue is when he gets pulled into the perimeter and helping out with other stuff going on around the court, being matched up because the Knicks do constant switching, being matched up with a guard or any type of quicker player, and then having to kind of get back and help out the other guards who aren't the best defenders because he's a big and he's got to help out down low. This is when you find, you know, Julius in the twilight zone. It's not always his fault, but it just in those positions, he doesn't look that great.
You could say the same for a lot of our players.
That is very true. It's not just Julius either. It is not just Julius.
Right.
Obi looks horrible on defense. RJ has not looked good on defense at all this year. Although I will say in this 4-game stretch, one of the things that I mentioned, guys, that I'm going to
I would say last game, not really all 3 games.
No, well, he's looked a little better in the last 4 games.
Last game was officially
definitely better.
His best defensive, you know what I mean, output. The other 3 is almost the same sort of routine. He's terrible in the pick and roll.
A little bit. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm really splitting hairs. I'm trying to find the littlest nugget.
Yeah.
One good.
No, I would say he played better offensively in the last 4 games. Offensively, he's brought it, and that's where where you see his impact. Yesterday, he had the impact on the defensive and offensive side. I'm not going to, Barrett's still.
I know you don't want to go that
defender,
far. I got you.
You know what I mean?
You know, the one things that I knew why that he was really trying yesterday when he got beat backdoor, and he's been getting beat backdoor for like 3 seasons, especially these last 2 seasons. He got beat backdoor, and then he like clapped his hands. He was mad. I was like, okay, that's good because that shows that he actually cares. Yes.
Right.
Yes, that's what we want to see, and we haven't been seeing that. So that's a good sign. It's a really good sign. And other thing that I was going to say in regards to the defensive side of the ball, one of the things that I said would be a benefit, and it is happening now. There's 2 things I said. One was that Deuce playing and Grimes playing, them being out there more would mean better perimeter defense. And so guys like Brunson. Really, I'm thinking more about RJ, but Brunson would benefit too. But guys like Brunson, RJ, and Randle are going to benefit from them being out there on the court and playing that better perimeter defense. RJ won't have to stress as much on the defensive end, so he can kind of focus back on his offensive game because he knows he's got some competent help out there. And Julius will be able to worry about the bigs and not help out so much on the perimeter, even though he still has to do a lot of switching. But those are the type of things that I thought would work. And another thing that I thought we might see, and we're seeing it, and it looks pretty good. It's not going to look great every game, but that's life, is the combination of having Hartenstein as the 4 and Sims as the center out there.
Mhm.
I thought they might do that, and I'm glad that they do. I'm surprised that Tibbs is actually doing something that I thought might work. And it's working so far. I'm not saying it's going to work every day, but it looks okay.
Yeah. And again, those are pieces that are coming off the bench, so that it's good energy, and I think that's sort of what you see with those guys when they come out, and they also have McBride within the mix. That energy is hard to duplicate because those guys are attacking the ball, they're attacking the rim, they're grabbing rebounds. They're very active type players, and most benches don't come with that sort of excitement or athleticism, and our bench has a little bit of athleticism in it, which is again goes back to like why it's so disappointing that Cam isn't a part of that rotation, because he may at times looks like he may not have the same energy, but that length is very difficult. You can't duplicate the length. You know what I mean? That length is important, especially in today's NBA, because now you can guard, positions 1 through 3, sometimes even 4, depending on if a team goes small. That length is super important, and a guy like that who can take it off the dribble, where a lot of our players aren't that crafty, that just adds an additional element. You know what I mean? I would love to see Grimes and Cam get at least an opportunity to play with one another in spurts, just to see what that combination can bring.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be really nice to see how because I've seen the combination before, and I saw it work beautifully. And this was last year.
And both willing passers. Both of them are willing passers.
Yes. Yeah.
That's another thing.
So
where you don't
that
get
would be
that.
beautiful.
You don't really get that with RJ. Like right now, he's starting to become a more willing passer. But like early on, he was just chucking them up. And so you get those kids playing beside each other, allowing each other to work off of each other's games. Like I don't. That's the problem with this Knicks front office. Is like, and with Tibbs, it's like, give it a shot. Who cares if a kid wants more minutes, or if Rose wants more minutes, or Cam is coming to you for more minutes? It's because they want to play. Allow them to show what they can bring, right? And then from there, you make a judgment whether or not it works or it doesn't work. But you're not seeing it on the court and making a judgment call to shorten the lineup doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Agreed. So before we get into the recap of this past week's games, there was 3 games that took place this week. Knicks have won 4 in a row, but one of them was prior. It was in last week. They had 3 games this week that we'll get into, and then we'll get into our predictions. Before we do that, I want to talk about 2 controversial things that I think need to continue to be on the radar for the Knicks. I think they both need to happen. And obviously to chat, you guys are welcome to give your takes on it as usual. John and I will discuss it a little bit. But before we get to that, I just want to give a quick shout out to our newest sponsor. We'll do a nice little clean drop for you guys eventually. But for right now, I want you guys to continue to rock with our sponsor, Ultra Game. Okay. Ultra Game men's line. As you can see right here, I am wearing the fleece hoodie from their line of clothing. They make these type of items, and not only just shirts and hoodies and stuff. Let me see if I can make it. There you go. A little bit better. But the picture of it is on. Yeah, I facts. The picture of it is on on our community page, so you definitely could see it. We were doing a quick giveaway. It was only for the weekend. It's over right now, but no fret, people. We're going to probably be doing a giveaway of some sort each month through Ultra Game. So if you didn't have a chance to get involved in this one, don't worry, you can catch the next one. But yeah, they have a great line of clothing. And the good thing about their clothing is what they do is they make a bunch of different items, shirts, hoodies, jackets, all types of stuff. But they make them so that, you know, they're for any team. So it could be NFL, it could be NBA. So just like they have this dope hoodie for the Knicks, they might have a similar one with the, you know, Chicago Bulls design or whatever. So it's universal. It's all encompassing. So whether or not it's, you know, you're a male or a female, they've got female line of clothing as well. It's a really big catalog. And if you look down low in the links of the show links, you'll see that they're linked to their website, and they also have a YouTube channel. All that stuff is there. Their Instagram, all that. In the description, correct. So definitely check them out, man. They've got some good stuff. And the other thing about it is, you know, I'm not one who likes to spend a lot of money on clothing. Their stuff is all affordable. I mean, so yeah, definitely check them out. And shout out to Ultra Game, you know, sponsorship. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for rocking with us. And we will continue to, you know, bring as much, you know, different lines of clothing as we can to you guys, so you guys can check it out. And then that way, you know, you also can see it before you buy it. So anyway,
true statement.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for tuning in and being here and rocking with us. We appreciate y'all. I wanted to give a shout out to Canal Ban Lauya in the building. What's good? Good to see you, my brother. All right. So here we go, folks. Here it is. Let's get it out the way so we can move on. This is Ron's position. Now, John and I will discuss. If he's in agreement, that's okay. If he's not in agreement, that's also okay. But this is my thoughts. Julius Randle has played great these past 4 games. He looked really good. I like, for the most part, his attitude and his mindset coming into the season. He's already talked about a couple different things that he's done that help him. I think he said he's eating better. He's getting a lot more rest. Last year, he said it was really tough on him having a newborn baby. He admitted to that. And now he's getting a lot more sleep. And he said it's not just that. He's also a big fan of the show Yellowstone. So he said he had to cut that out and stop watching it late at night so that he can get some sleep. So he stopped watching Yellowstone too. I mean, it sounds funny, but it's true. Listen, these guys have jobs. They travel, they play, they have to watch things at certain hours. Maybe that was cutting into the type of sleep he needs. So yeah, good for him. Tom Thibodeau is the orchestrator of this team right now, and they've won 4 in a row. And he's playing Deuce, he's playing Grimes, and they're playing great defense all of a sudden, which is good. They've been playing number 1 type defense in the past 4 games, and I think they're like 9th or 10th overall in this little stretch. So it's kind of crazy. All that being said, I still think the Knicks need to trade Julius Randle, and I still thank you for that, Jose. Thank you. And I still think the Knicks need to fire Tom Thibodeau. No sound effect for that one? Yeah, because my oh, that's funny. My thoughts behind this, guys, is I am no longer looking at things as just a regular Knicks fan, the way I normally look at things. You know, I just go with the flow. I'm a fan of the Knicks. I love them. I don't care who's out there. I'm a root for my Knicks. I'm going to want the best for them. But right now, I'm looking at the big picture. I want the Knicks to continue to build. I want them to be in a position where they can have, a good playoff track record and a chance to be an elite team to contend for a championship, you know, maybe 3 to 5 years down the line. So because of that, I don't see Julius Randle as the number 1 option here. I don't even see him as the number 2 option here if we want to contend. I think we got to bring in some of those type of guys. He can definitely be a strong 2.5, 3, because I think he's a very good complementary piece. I think you put him on a team like Phoenix or a team like Dallas, and he really helps that team grow. The Knicks, I think we need something different. And also, when it comes to Tom Thibodeau, I have been mad at Tom Thibodeau all season because of some of his choices, some of his rotations, the different things he's doing. And I do not forget how he ran the team last year with some of the choices he made, and how we lost big leads in the fourth quarter, being up by 20 and watching the collapse. So I don't forget all of that. Because of all of that, because it's been so long to cultivate this talent, and certain guys that we're playing now, that he's forced to play because I think the writing's been on the wall, the pressure's been underneath him, that the Knicks have not been doing good. He's a defensive coach, and we've been horrible in defense. I think he's been forced to make these decisions. I don't think these were game plan decisions like, you know what, I've always wanted to put Grimes in the starting lineup. I need to get Deuce more minutes. I don't think that's Tibbs' game plan. I think he had a plan. These guys have not responded the way we would like them to respond. And now this is where we're at in this situation, that he's forced to do the right thing. It's paid off, and people are going to be quick to forget because we like winning. But I don't forget. And I think if this team wants to go anywhere long term, Tibbs has got to go. We need to bring in a new coach. That's my opinion. What do you think, John?
This is what I'll say. Julius Randle is at the highest peak right now. He's playing at an all-star level. His stock is not going to get any bigger than it is right now. If you know the future of this team is not going to be with Randle, then move on from him, right? Give yourself an opportunity to garner additional picks, a player that is comparable to the team that you have without him, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't know what Obi can be if not given an opportunity, right? Maybe he's a bust. Maybe he is not what people would think him to be as a number 8 pick, right? But you gotta make room for these young kids to grow, because right now you're showing a trend of going in the direction of playing the youth, and you can't have a mix of that culture trend and mixing in a player that's in his prime now, wanting to be a star, because that's what he wants to become, a star for a team. And if that's not the direction that you want to go in as an organization, then sell him high. Sell, get the most you can from the guy. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a business. He has to understand it. The Knicks have to understand that as an organization, that we got to go with a youth movement and start trading away all of these older players now that we have an opportunity to do so, right? So that's why I am with the Randle move.
Mm-hmm.
I feel there's no better time than now to do it. Just as a business side of it, as a fan, I want to see my team win. And so that part of it makes me hesitant to want to move Randle, because he is our best player on the court the last 4 to 5 games. But then you look at what he did in order to get himself removed from a game, and with that close from it just turning itself all the opposite way, right? It could turn at any moment, right? And so it's best that we go young. These young kids got good heads on their shoulders. They want to win. They want to learn. They're aggressive. They got the tools. They just need an opportunity to play, right? And so let's go in that direction and see what comes of it. But again, when you get rid of those guys like Randle, Fournier, if you get rid of Cam and D Rose, get something in return. It can't just be, I'm getting rid of these guys and I'm coming back with a second round draft pick. That's not going to be enough. right? So we got to get, you know, we got to get a return on our investment, basically. And we invested time and energy on these players. We brought them in. Now we have an opportunity to ship them out and get something in return for them. Let's do that and then go into a new direction. As far as Coach Tibbs he helped start a culture trend, which I like and which I was a strong proponent in. He's already reached his peak. Like I'm not expecting Tibbs to take us into a playoff run of 3-year stretches, right? Like 3 years in a row, we make the playoffs consistently. I don't see that for Tibbs. I see us possibly getting to the playoffs this year, but at some point, we have to move on from Tibbs. Will he play out the entire year? I think he will. But if we go youth movement, I think he's also going to be moved on from as well. But I don't think it'll happen mid-season. I think they'll wait till the end of the season to make that adjustment and bring in a new coach, or maybe even, promote from within. Maybe a Brunson or a what's the young man's name? The offensive. Coach?
Johnny Bryant.
Johnny Bryant, may get an opportunity. So I think they'll do that instead of going outwardly and finding someone to replace Tibbs.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could listen. What I think they should do and what they will do are obviously totally different things. We have no clue. We don't know what the hell they'll do, but I think that they definitely should think about getting rid of Tom Thibodeau and trading Julius Randle. And contrary to what Sherwin you might think, no, I am not doing that to open up playing time for Obi Toppin. In fact, this is how wrong you are. I think the Knicks should trade Obi Toppin too. That's right. No power forwards, folks. Let's go. I think that the ideal way that I would do it is I trade Obi first. I trade Obi at the trade deadline, and I trade Randle in the offseason. The problem is I don't know how Randle's value is going to look like after a full season.
I would do the opposite, bro. I would trade Randle first because his stock is high. I would get rid of him while he's high. That way you're going to get the most from that. Obi, you don't know what his peak's going to be. So there's still potential there for some teams. Like they see him now starting to shoot a 3-point shot. So that's a plus. And he's still, he's an older, young player. You know what I mean? I think he's 20. How old is he now? 24? 20.
He's 24. I think he's going to be 25 this year.
Going to be 25. So like
coming into the next year. Yeah.
He's an older player, but at least you can see him adding something, right, to his athleticism and speed. Randle, you know what you get with Randle, right? He's at an all-time high. Teams right now are gonna be willing to pay out for him right now. If you allow him to play throughout an entire season, it can flip on us at any moment. At any moment, it can flip on us, and that's the problem. You don't know from one game to the next what Julius you're gonna get mentally. And if he starts going on a run, and then at the moment that he starts to downward spiral, like his shot isn't falling, then that mental game becomes night and day, man. Then you don't know what you're gonna get.
Facts. That's 100%. Yeah, I'm okay with trading Randle, and I'm okay with trading Obi, to be honest, because my whole thing is, and even if you do it both this year by the trade deadline, I don't care.
That's fine
because
too.
My thing is you trade both of them, and in the deal coming back, no matter how it's packaged, whether it be for Obi or Randle, you bring back a power forward, an adequate power forward. He doesn't have to be a star. All he has to do is fill a role. He fills the spot until we get into the offseason. And then maybe in the draft, instead of drafting for a guard that we never do really anyway, or a point guard, maybe we draft a power forward because there's always good power forwards out there. Maybe we can hit better on a power forward. I don't know. We'll see. But my thing is,
keeping the
it doesn't
options
matter.
open. Keeping those options
Yeah.
open, because right now you're playing Hartenstein and Sims, right, together. That allows you to have some interchangeable pieces there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you have an option already. So moving from those guys wouldn't be a heartache, right? Like you lose something offensively, losing Randle, of course.
Oh,
But
it'd be huge. Yeah.
what will you gain in return? What flexibility will you gain in return? And that it's worth noting that you don't know what's on the other side. You know what I mean? Of the trading side, right? So give yourself an option. Give yourself the option now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with that. But definitely I would say trade whatever asset you have that brings in the best return. If that's OB for some reason, if it's Randall for some reason, whatever. But the Knicks I feel like they do need to, as far as the organization, make a move like that in order to get better. But I am a little concerned about that too, because I don't know if I trust this front office to do it. But that's another story. That's another topic for another show, folks.
Yeah, because
So-
if I was betting on it, I don't see Randall moving.
I
see
don't
them
think so
moving.
either. Especially not
really
now,
think-
not the way he's playing.
No, yeah, I just think they're infatuated with him as a player, and I think, I mean, they spend a lot closer time, moments with him as an individual, so they must like him as an individual. He must. Obviously, we don't know him personally, so he probably is everything they say he is, right? Which is a really good, player, family guy. That's the one thing you got to say with Randall, right? You don't see him having off the court issues, so that's a
Right.
plus.
Right.
He is a hardworking player. He does play. He works hard in the off season. He works hard during the regular season. He's in great shape. The problem that we all have, I know I have, with Randall is that if he can't keep his mental in order for all 82 games, does that become a negative, right? Like, it's gonna rub off on the rest of the team, or you know what I mean, like negatively? And right now, his teammates got his back. They're all saying the right things. They think he's got their best interest at heart. But moments like you've seen yesterday can always affect change, right? And on the opposite side of it, it could start, just becoming a trend that goes the wrong way, and is ineffective, And so I would wait and see, but I think at this point, like I said earlier, gotta trade him while he's high. He's at his highest peak right now. You gotta look for offers. You gotta see who's calling.
Yeah.
Take the calls,
listen,
man.
I agree with that, man. And look, I guess I don't want to kill him for what took place yesterday. I'm not happy about it. I would prefer he didn't react the way he did. Although the play in question that happened that got him so mad.
Reason. There wasn't no reason for that.
Well, he could have got hurt. He could have got
Come
hurt.
on.
If you look at the
This
play,
is
he
the
could have
same
got hurt.
guy who does the same thing on the offensive end.
And in fairness, I would say the same thing on the other side.
But
It's not
if
right there either.
If you could dish it, you got to be able to take it. Like,
But whoever does that.
but bro, you playing depends on who you connect, who you match up with, right? Like, if you match up against somebody who you think is going to take that, then you dish it and you expect nothing in return. But
Right.
if you're going up against what's the kid from the Pistons? What's his name? Is it Stewart?
Oh yeah, Isaiah Stewart. Mm-hmm.
Is that
Isaiah Stewart? Yeah.
Like, you want to bang with him, or you're going to get dirty with him because he's going to get dirty back, right? There's just certain players who are that way, who are confrontational. And if you want to be confrontational, then be that, but expect something to happen in return. For me, that's kind of that's sort of a, I don't know. I don't know what the right term of saying. That's a weak-minded individual if you're not able to withstand the same pressure you applied to someone else. You know what I mean? And that's for me. Like if you got you drop to the floor, pick your ass back up, and if you angry about it, cause the foul on the other side, right? You can get back on defense and then stop the ball, creating a hard foul. So if it's a tech that's needed, then the tech is called because of a hard foul versus you chirping at a referee who isn't gonna do nothing to you. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of that's what I mean by weak-minded. Like you can't be that person. To be so big and so strong, you gotta play through that.
But I don't think. Oh, shout out to infamous New King in the building. He agrees with you. I don't think that's necessarily the case with Julius all the time. Like usually he's the one that goes back and forth. Usually him and which didn't happen too much in this past game. Usually him and Sabonis get really chippy when they play against each other.
But he wasn't guarding Sabonis.
He wasn't. That's what I'm saying. That was my point. I don't know why they weren't guarding each other, but usually when they play against each other, it's real chippy. I don't know.
Because Mitchell had the height advantage and was really be able, and so was Hartenstein, was putting body on him, and it allowed Julius Randle to have a good offensive game because he had to work so hard on the defense.
I think that's what it is. I think you nailed it with because Mitch has been there, but I think the fact that now we got Hartenstein and Sims is a little bit more Julius doesn't have to go down there and really bang with him. Yeah.
Right. And why exert so much energy when we need you on the offensive side?
Fact.
Right? Because
100%.
Sabonis can't hang with him on the offensive side. He knows it. And no one on that team could rock with Randle on the offensive side. That's why he had such a strong game. But he was attacking the rim and he was hitting those open jump shots, right? And then he got real comfortable. He started hitting the step back. You know what I mean? Like when he gets in his bag, he's hard to defend because he's versatile. You know, he is versatile. I mean, give him credit. He's versatile. He's worked on this game. He's gotten there. But again, you got to be, if you're able to dish it, you got to be able to take it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And you falling on the floor because that foul wasn't, they didn't throw you on the floor. He threw himself on the floor. He basically got hit and threw himself on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And then landed on someone's knee or leg and then felt like, oh, it should have been, come on, man, don't act the part because you're a terrible actor. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not good at it. You're not a John Morant type. Like you just don't have the body type in order to flop. You don't have it. So don't do it. You know what I mean? Don't do it. It's not a part of your game.
There's some, I can't be mad at you. There's some truth to that. So what am I going to say?
Anybody tells me, yo, you know, he could have gotten hurt, this, and that. Like, come on, stop. Like he's gotten hurt. He's gotten hit harder than that in the NBA in his career and didn't chirp the way he chirped yesterday. It was just he was mad that it was stupid. It was dumb.
Well, I maybe it had to be a combination of in the game. The refs were not calling a lot of stuff, and the Knicks were getting mad about it. And Tibbs called another technical.
Maybe it was a Brunson.
Maybe that's
situation.
What it was.
Maybe it was a Brunson situation. Maybe because Brunson got the worst end of it last night. You know what I mean? True. He had a few times where he was, got pulled off from the air. Which even though he was a person who put the contact, you know what I mean? He just didn't expect the young man. Was it Keegan Murray to be that strong?
No, I thought it was Keegan Murray. It was this other dude that shoots. He didn't. It was Keegan Murray. That strong. It was Keegan. Maybe it was Keegan Murray.
He picked him. He gave him dap afterwards.
Yeah.
But he didn't expect the rookie to have that much strength going up. You know what I mean? So, look, it was he went for the and one. Unfortunately, he fell. He didn't fall in the right way. He injured himself a little bit. And then second to that, he then injured himself again when there was a play on the other side. I think it was an offensive play. And then he sort of landed on his leg. But
which, I mean, listen, people were saying, I saw people saying it on Twitter, and I looked at it and I was like, if I was Tibbs, maybe I'd take Jalen Brunson out the game right here. And this was before he got hurt with the, this is a Tibbs thing.
That's a Tibbs guy, right? Like Tibbs don't leave. He wants his players to play through everything. Yeah. Sometimes you got to protect the players from themselves. You know what I'm saying? You do sometimes, but he isn't that guy.
No, he's not. So, that's the situation with that, guys. That's it is what it is. But let's do the quick little rundown of the games that took place, and then we'll get into our predictions and stuff. So, first off, just give you guys a heads up on the docket. The first game this week was the Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks. The Knicks won that game 113-89.
DeJounte Murray was injured early.
Right. DeJounte Murray went out very early in that game in the first quarter. And
what was that due to? Can you recall?
I think he stepped on somebody's ankle or stepped on somebody's foot or somebody stepped on his ankle. I don't remember.
Right. He was undercut by RJ Barrett.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And so you end up landing on someone's foot. Now you out. That could have cost them, you know what I mean? Big time, right? Like, so injuries happen. It's a part of the game. That's what I'm saying. You don't complain about it. You just play through. You either play through it or you sit your ass down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I can't argue with you. I mean,
and to be honest, I think Infamous New King said it right. He really wasn't undercut. He was, RJ just happened to be under him when he, his momentum took him forward onto RJ's foot. But either way, those things happen. You know what I mean? Like RJ wasn't trying to be dirty. You know what I mean? So I agree with you there. He wasn't trying to be dirty. It was bad luck, definitely. But yeah, man, it happens. But you just can't be that guy. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Not in New York.
It's tough when it comes from Julius because we know how Julius can be. He throws his body around. He's very physical. I know.
It would be bad if we got that from RJ too, because he also throws his body around. You know what I mean? On the offensive end, RJ's always trying to outmuscle somebody. So if he turns around and then starts to flop and throw himself around, everybody's gonna look at him strange. What you doing? You know what I'm saying?
I can't argue with that. There's some truth to that, folks. I can't argue with it. So, they wound up winning that game, and Trae Young
convincingly.
Yeah, convincingly. And Trae Young really was not a big factor. Grimes was guarding him a lot in this game, and it showed. Yep. Which is fantastic. I mean, it's just another really good opportunity for Grimes to step up, and he did. And all of his defensive matchups this year, for the most part, I would say he's been winning those battles. Maybe one time there was one matchup he had that didn't really go in his favor, but he's been really good. Really,
but here's the thing. I don't even want him to win the matchups. I want him to be competitive, and that's what he's been for me. It's like he's played competitively throughout the game that the offensive player is weary. You know what I mean? They need to account for him up and down the court, right? Because not only is he bringing it on the defensive end, he's also, bringing a little extra on the offensive end that most teams aren't prepared for. And that's the key. For me, it's like he's bringing it on both sides of the court, and he's active. So as an offensive player, you're always looking at somebody who's that active. Like, damn, this kid just don't leave me alone. I can still score buckets on him, but he's still here. He ain't going nowhere. It's like, Mexican boxers, they ain't going nowhere. They're gonna be at your chest, and you could jab them all day. You could counterpunch them all day, but they're gonna be at your chest. They're not moving. You know what I'm saying?
All fight long.
Those are the hardest fights to have. It's like, yo, this dude ain't getting off of me. So
yeah, that's a good point.
That's what Grimes is. That's Grimes right there.
Yeah. So the other big thing that happened in this game is Julius Randle. Well, first off, let's say this. I'm gonna do it in this order. RJ Barrett had another one of those games. He was 4 for 13. He had 15 points, 7 rebounds. Right. Then you had Jalen Brunson had 8 points and 6 assists, 4 rebounds. He struggled. In this winning streak from the Knicks, Jalen Brunson has struggled in most, if not every game. He was 2 of 14 for the field. Oof, it was rough, right? But Quentin Grimes had 23 points in this game, 4 rebounds and 2 assists. And last but not least, Julius Randle had a fantastic game, 34 points, 17 rebounds, and 5 assists. So Julius was great. He was
Best game of the season.
fantastic in this game. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
best
sir.
game of the season.
And no turnovers.
He would have been close to that if he hadn't gotten, removed from the last game, because he was at 27 and he was just the start of the third, wasn't it? Like when he got the technicals.
Yeah, he had 27 to finish the first half.
That's what I'm saying.
It's crazy.
So he would have had another one of those games.
Yeah. Well, then this is what happens sometimes, that things happen and that's it. You get taken out of the game. So, or you take yourself out of the game. So what did you think about how their effort versus Atlanta?
It was great.
John?
It was great.
Yeah.
I thought that even if the DeJounte Murray would have played, I think we would have came out victorious. Well, I think we just had the right energy coming into it. We were gelling in all, and Jalen Brunson, even though I think this is the game he had 11 assists, right? Like even though he didn't shoot it well.
Not the Atlanta game. No, the Atlanta game he had 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was his stat line? Jalen Brunson.
It was. Let me go back to it. It was. He had 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists.
Okay, so yeah, this was one of his not so good games. So, yeah, I mean, again, not everybody's gonna have it every game, but I still think like Jalen Brunson brings something. I don't know if it's composure is what I'll call it. Like that moxie when you're on the court. You can rely on the guy not to make too many mistakes, be able to control the tempo of a game, things of that nature. So. Yeah, we got to give credit. I think they played well. I think as a team, they played well. And we haven't really give Mitchell Robinson his flowers. Since he's come back, our defense has been tremendous. So can't take away anything that Grimes and McBride are doing, but I think it all starts with Mitchell Robinson being able to defend the paint and rebound the way he does.
Well, for that part, yes, because Mitch is a big part of Tom Thibodeau's scheme. His scheme is to funnel guys into that paint so that Mitch can clean it up. And so him being there is a big part of Tibbs' defense. That's very true. Right. And, Mitch's ability to do it. So kudos to him, as you said. So then the next game up was the Knicks versus the Charlotte Hornets, where the Knicks won 121-102. In this game, we got to see a much better RJ Barrett. He had 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. He was 9 of 18 from the field, so he shot really well and still continuing to shoot really good from the free throw line. He shot 87% from there. Jalen Brunson this is the game in which he had 11 assists. He had 11 points, 11 assists. Another poor shooting game for him. He was 3 of 13. So you can see he's still struggling, but he knocks down all his free throws. He does other things, 11 assists. He does whatever he can do to help the Knicks to impact winning and all that good stuff. He's that guy. And the Knicks had a really good all-around game in this. They 7 guys in double figures. And once again, led by Julius Randle, who in this game had 33 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block.
How many turnovers?
2 turnovers. But that's really still pretty good, because I think Julius averaged around 4 last year.
You were seeing numbers like 8 turnovers, 7 turnovers, 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
Even his All-Star season, he had a lot of he was heavy on the turnover side as well. It's this season that he's really not have, like, it's almost weird because like he's able to do better protecting the ball now that he isn't the guy who is sort of orchestrating the offense, right? Like, we'll work it to him, but he's not orchestrating the offense anymore. It's coming through it's going through Jalen Brunson. You know what I mean? And so I think this is, a good year. This is a very solid year for Randle. But I think as a team, I think they're figuring it out. Even the games that we lost, were like close games that we lost against really good competitive teams like Milwaukee and to who was the other really good team that we lost against? It was a close game.
Memphis.
That was the one who I was thinking of. Yep. You know what I mean? Like those games, like you had a chance of winning them. And I think it's important that to show that as a team we've played better in those games, and then we've beaten the teams we're supposed to beat. So inevitably, we should be where we're at today.
True.
Which is what, one game over 500 right now?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're right where we should be. You're right. Shout out to the chat once again. Thank you guys for being here. Knicks Morning Brew is in the building. Project Nerd, a.k.a. Heck, in the building. What's good? Guys, if you haven't checked out Knicks Morning Brew or Yankees Morning Brew, both done by the same team, my guy Heck, rocking over there on the Degen Sports Network, 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, man. Check out all their content. It's fantastic. Definitely support this show, man.
Definitely.
Shout out to Jigga Man and Phil, the Porto brothers.
Nice.
Porto brothers. I want to say that again. I'm going to confuse everybody. Could sound like something else. Porto. All right. Anyway, shout out to everybody. Kerry Cooper in the building. Salute to you. Jay Boogie is here. What's good, Jay Boogie? Thank you for being here. He said, shout outs in chat. Blessings, health, and happiness. Julius should have been player of the week if not for yesterday. But shout out to all the fantasy football players that made it to the playoffs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You in there? You in there, Ron? You in there? You in the playoffs?
I am in first. I'm in first place in my league, bro.
Look at you, bro.
I ain't mad at it. I'm running through right now, folks.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So that's what took place in that game. And how did you think they looked in that game against?
Terrific.
Yeah,
that's the sort of games you want to see from your team. You want to spread the love. You want to see that sort of equal shared time and the ability to have 7 players all in double figures. You don't really see that often unless you're like a Warriors team. You know what I mean? But I think all in all, we've been playing really good basketball. And this is what's going to help us get to a place where we're at a 42-win season, but it's about consistency. Can we be consistent enough to make a couple of more runs like this, because at some point we're going to run into a team that's going to have our number and is going to break the win streak. Can we then go into another win streak? How often can we get into win streaks? And they don't have to be 4 games, right? They can be 3 games in a row, here and there, just sporadic throughout the season, and you'll be in a good place by the end of the season.
That's a fact. I agree with you. Yeah, you gotta take, really, it sounds like a cliche, but you really got to take it one game at a time and hopefully just give that same max effort that you did in the previous game, carry it over to the next game, man. So we'll see. So that brings us to the last game that just passed, the Knicks versus the Sacramento Kings. The Knicks won that game 112-99. Another really good game from the Knicks, and the effort was strong. It was really good on the defensive end. In this game, the Knicks had 5 guys in double figures. Once again, you got Jalen Brunson, who was starting to snap out of it, which is a shame he got hurt because he shot 7 for 14.
He had 18 points.
He had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Uncharacteristically, though, he had 5 turnovers, which Jalen is very good at protecting the ball. So that was kind of weird.
Right.
Julius Randle had 27 points at the half. Then obviously he got into a little bit of a moment that we have already talked about. He wound up going over to, there was a rookie ref that was officiating this game. He went over to the rookie ref, yelled at the rookie ref. I guess the rookie ref was kind of, not really giving him the type of feedback that Julius wanted. So instead of kind of trying to cool down and relax, No, he went over to the veteran ref on the other side and started yelling at him, and he got immediately tossed. All happened within a span of a minute or so, even maybe less. So my theory, John, is that Randle got mad and made the mistake of going over to the rookie ref first. The rookie ref did not give him any of the feedback he was thinking. And when he saw that, he was like, no, this guy don't even know what he's doing. And he wasted his technical foul on that guy. And so he had to get his money worth, and he went over to the veteran. That's what I think happened.
But that's why it didn't make no sense. You know what I mean? Like, what was the point of that? That's what I don't understand. What was there's one thing you say, yo, like, I could have gotten hurt there. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah. All right. You know what I mean? I'll get you the next one. You know what I mean? Like, it's simple as that. Or you're a player, you're like, yo, pay attention to this or whatever. Like, give me a break when I'm on the other side. Like something. But like to just go off of the same thing that you put yourself in regularly, like, come on. I just don't understand.
My whole thing about that, I get it. Sometimes you want to set a precedence. Like, listen, don't just keep letting this stuff happen because somebody could get hurt out here. So let me just bark at you and let you know this can't keep going on. That's fine. You can do it.
It never works. When have we seen the barking work?
This is what I was going to say, John. Every time I've seen that happen by any player, right? What do they expect to happen? Immediately, nothing happens because it's not like the ref is going to say, "Oh, you know what? You were right. Let me go tee this guy up." Or it's a flagrant. They're not going to turn back time. So it's like you're hoping that they remember this stuff for the next play. But if you're too aggressive about it, all they're going to do is like, "Oh, this dude's going to be a pain in my backside all game." That's what they're thinking about, not about, "Oh, well, you were wronged. Let me do the right thing next time. I'm gonna watch you." No, when you come at them too aggressively, no, they're like, "Oh, this dude's he's a pain in the butt. I'm not messing with him."
You also have to be the right. You also got to be the right character guy, right? Like a Kobe Bryant was able to do that, right? Because he was better than average. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just certain players that you're like, yo, you can get away with certain things because you are that guy, right? You're an elite player. And if you're looking at, you're getting double teamed or whatever and you're getting knocked down, you have the ability to go to the referee and say, yo, you're not watching the game because I'm getting smacked around, right? So you can have that bark a little bit. And that bark is, it's for players like that is necessary. But if you are a guy who is also dishing that out regularly, don't expect those calls on the other side. If you yourself are trying to draw contact and you're banging guys over or you're moving guys around and you're aggressively grabbing boards, you know what I mean? Like, don't expect those calls to come your way like that. Gotta play through it.
It's tough. It's tough to expect that you're going to get those calls when you are a very physical type player. In some cases, some might say that you are kind of dirty. There's a lot of players out there that physically play a certain way, and we've already talked about it. Julius is the type, he goes up with elbows, arms, legs, knees. He goes up kind of awkward sometimes, and he takes people out. So
Draymond's another one, right? Like, Draymond is known for being dirty tactics, and so you're not going to get those calls from the referees. But he knows he's that guy, and he knows he isn't going to get the calls. So he himself will get teed up at times because he's overly vocal.
Right.
It's like, what's the point?
My whole thing is, and what really upset me about it is even the fact that Julius got the technical. I could live with him being mad and catching one technical. It's the fact that he got two technicals back to back. He didn't even like, the point of arguing something is that you're mad, and really, I would think you hope that it changes so later down the line we get a better call or you guys notice it. He didn't even give the refs a chance to change anything. Like, let me get another technical right this minute and get thrown out the game. And
Yeah.
you also, the funny thing is, I was just saying this to someone else as I was watching the game. I was texting. I was like, man, the way Julius is playing these past few games, it really looks like he's trying to step up and become the leader on the team. Look at
And
how
then
he's
he
trying to
did
tell
it.
Quigley to be over here, do this. He told RJ, do the backdoor cut, and I'll give you the ball. And then RJ caught the ball, and then he flipped it up to Mitch for the lob dunk. Like, he's doing certain things, and then he catches the 2 technicals and get thrown out. I mean, come on, man. But okay, so that's that, right? But outside of that, in the game itself, he had 27 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists in the first half. Imagine what
could have
he
ended
would
the
have finished
game with like 36. Easy.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Right? He probably would have even been able to make a 40 clip if he was still hot.
Possibly, because that's only 13 points away with 2 quarters left.
Yeah.
He could have probably did that. Now, RJ benefited from Julius being thrown out of the game because he was allowed to be a little bit more of a focal point of the offense, and he finished with 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Another good game for RJ. That's 2 back-to-back, guys.
His best defensive game of the season.
That's true too. Good point.
If he can just, just do this often, you know what I mean? Then we got something. But we've been waiting so long for this. Like, it's like you got to start the season this way.
At some point. I mean, something's got to change, but it is what it is. So that's kind of how it shook out. Knicks had 5 guys in double figures, and they played a very strong game. Now, the only thing that I look at when I look at this box score that I'm really not feeling, even though some people might say it might have been needed because there's a good chance they could have gave up the lead once Julius left, is the fact that Quentin Grimes played 42 minutes and RJ played 44 minutes. I don't know, Tibbs. I don't know. But,
But this is what you get with an 8-man rotation. You lose Randle. He didn't bring no one new in. It was just he played more of Hartenstein and Sims together. You know what I mean? Or Hartenstein and Mitch Robinson. Like, he didn't really mix it up like that. He had at one point who he had on. It was Deuce, Grimes, Barrett.
Oh, he had one was Deuce, Grimes, Barrett, Quickly, and
that's what I'm saying. He went super
and Hartenstein or Sims. I don't know which one it was. It was one of them. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But in today's NBA, you can get away with a lot of that because a lot of the teams aren't throwing bigs out there regularly, right? So,
yeah, there's a lot of small ball stuff happening. Shout out to Kevin Middleton in the chat. I see you. Appreciate you. He says, I see a 10-piece defense is different. Teams plan to shoot open threes. That is how Bums made a name now regarding threes. 10 straight easy. So he thinks the Knicks can run off 10 games.
I don't know.
It's a possibility, but it's tough.
I don't know if we shoot it. If we shot it better than we shoot it, like this, we've shot it good the last 4 games. But we're not a high percentage shooting type of team, right? There's going to come a time where we're going to start shooting poor shots. And it all depends on what's on the other side of us. Are we going to play a defensive team? I mean, who we got next? We got Chicago for 2, right? I think we got Chicago for 2. And then we're like, and then who do we have? The Pacers?
Yeah, we got the Pacers, which is not an easy game. The Pacers are playing
It's not
really
an easy
good.
game. It's not an easy game, and they played as well the last time we played them, right? Because Matteo went off on us, and we lost that one, right? And then I think we have the Warriors. Is it the Warriors? Right after that? So
that's a good question.
I think it is the Warriors, but the 2 back-to-back is going to kill us because
yes, it's the Warriors. You're correct.
It's the Warriors. So we're going to win hopefully we win the first game against the Bulls. That second game against the Bulls is going to be tough because now they know what we're going to bring defensively.
And
right?
and just want to throw this out there, and I want to break your train of thought. It's really weird because we play the Bulls twice, right? Then the Pacers, right? then the Warriors, then the Raptors, and then we play the Bulls again. Who made this schedule?
It's weird. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the Bulls are going to see us 3 times in about 2 week span.
It's crazy.
They're going to know what we're doing defensively. They're going to figure that out. So we better get the first one against them. You get what I'm saying? We better get this one. And after this one, all bets are off because we may lose one of these. And then we got to go into the gambit, right? Now we play a really tough-nosed Pacer team. Now, if they're healthy, they're better. If they're not healthy, then we may run into, we may be able to get that win. And I think we will get the win against the Pacers. I think we're going to lose one. And we'll go through the predictions, but I think we're going to lose one against the Bulls, but then we'll win against the Pacers. And then we're in some tough – then there's a tough chunk of games there because we've got Warriors, Raptors, and then directly after that, who knows what we have, So,
yeah.
And we'll be going on the road, right, I believe, at some point there because we've been having a lot of home games.
Yeah, well, one of the Bulls games is going to be on the road, so it's home and home. So, yeah, shout out to Building Blocks. I see you in the chat. Alan Alford is here. Good to see you guys. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, I think it's kind of. Oh, also shout out to Adrian. Sorry, I didn't want to miss you, my guy. Appreciate you. Craig, I think someone already answered it. Yes, I have seen them at a couple of the recent games. So I don't want to mention them and talk too much about them because they be watching these content creators. I don't need no smoke. John, you could read the chat. I don't want to bring it up. But
at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with. I mean, listen, he's a solid player. Julius Randle is a solid player. He's a 20-10 guy. The problem that I have is that the Knicks don't see it. It doesn't seem like he's a part of their future. It doesn't seem like it's going to be him. You know what I mean? So cut your losses now. Or catch your wins now because right now he's at an all-time high. So get the best you can get from him. Yeah,
we'll see.
There's nothing wrong with that. Julius Randle is going to be a professional player and will have a continuous career without the Knicks, far and beyond, and what he's a tribute to is sort of I'll give him credit for saying he helped us shift the paradigm, right? Because without him, who knows what we would have become if he didn't have that great season. You know what I mean? He had a really, really good season with the Knicks. And for that, he has to be commended, And this year, he's having another really good season, and he has to be commended. But if we're not going to move on with him, and he's not a part of the future, get the best you can from him right now.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to get any higher.
Probably not. Yeah, it's only so far he can go. Craig, stop it, man. I wish, bro. He said, what can we get for Randle? 2 first? Yeah. I wish. No, man.
I think we could pull 1 first, and then
we might be able to pull 1.
And then maybe a second-round draft pick and a player.
Yeah.
I would not mind that at all.
Although, technically, when you really think about it, Julius could be worth 2 if he just played, kept
it's just
himself
2 first rounders,
straight and narrow, if he played consistently the way he's playing now,
right?
You could see a player like that fetching 2 first rounders maybe if he was that guy, but he's too up and down, man.
He's not. But you know what? It depends on the team. If there's a team that has an allotment, let's say OKC, they got an allotment of first-round picks. If they see Randle as an option for them to make a run at the playoffs, would they do that? I don't know.
That's a possibility. You never know.
Who knows?
Maybe one on and one off. Maybe a one protected, one unprotected.
But that's right.
That's maybe. I don't know. Well, that's interesting. Possibly.
It's not far fetched. It's not
far fetched. Exactly.
He's 20-10, man. Like he's only two. He's averaging 8 rebounds this season.
Yeah, I mean, Julius in a different situation, he could easily be 20, 10, and 5 once again.
And his turnover ratio is a lot lower than it has been in the past. So he is probably having his best career right now. To this day.
We'll see. If he keeps playing this way at the end of the season, this might even turn out to be a better season than the most improved season because of his efficiency. But we got to see. We'll watch how it plays out. I'm curious. That's a good point, John. I want to watch that. Shout out to Alan Alford once again. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for asking about her. She is getting a little better. We're just going to keep plugging away and doing what we can to get her back to full swing of things. But thank you for the prayers and the well wishes. Appreciate that, bro. All right, man. Let's get to it. Right before we get into these predictions, you know what? Before we do that, I think we should probably talk about real quick what were you thinking of the last game? Because this stuff is happening, man. And this one happened from someone I wouldn't expect it to happen to. This one was Jalen Brunson. Can you imagine? What were you thinking?
He's been there.
Oh boy. Look at this. Look at this pass by Jalen. Oh boy!
Look at that!
Oh boy!
Right
first off, look at he dribbled off his foot. Watch the pass. Here it is.
Oh yeah!
What? What? Like why?
Why? Exactly. And he didn't ever have to pick up his dribble, which was crazy. Like he could just kept dribbling it out. He's just having. It's like He's slumping. He's slumping.
The first play messed him up so bad that the next play he dribbled it off his foot. He's like, "Oh man, I don't know what I'm doing now."
But you know what's interesting? This is after he injured his leg too. These plays happen right directly after he injured his leg. So he's already dealing with pain. So the pain is probably bothering him while he's trying to make decisions on the court. So it's hard when when you're dealing with an injury that you could feel. You can see him. He's gingerly walking up. Like you could tell he's not himself right now.
Oh man. Whew. Oh wow.
Jalen out there looking like Rick Brunson.
That's a tough one. Yeah, that is a tough one, folks. Okay. So and in fairness, Alan, I see your question.
I like this question.
That is a really good question. He said, I posed this question to the crew at D's World. How do the Knicks take the next step to a contender with 4 starters on multi-year contracts and a coach that doesn't like playing or developing rookies?
Well, they're playing now. They're playing now, so we can't say they're not playing, right? So you got Deuce playing.
He's playing them now.
You got Grimes playing. You got Quickly playing. You got RJ playing. Those are all young players, so that's not even in question anymore. Now, the 4 starters that are multi-year contracts, let's name them more for me. You have, I'm assuming you're talking about Mitchell Robinson. You're talking about Randle. You're talking about RJ and Jalen Brunson.
I would think that's the 4. I think that's the 4.
Okay, so then you remove the only person that you remove from that equation is Randle. Right? He's making the most money, right? And he is the oldest player on this team. Makes sense. Like you move away from him.
Of those crew. I mean, because Derrick Rose is the oldest, but
of those guys.
Of
those 4, he's the oldest. So you make room. You make room by moving him and then potentially making a couple of other moves in order to, clear up some cap space, like the Fourniers and the Derrick Roses, and go young. Go young. At this point, the young kids can play. They're capable. So then move on from those older players, man. OKC is doing it. Why can't we?
I think nothing should be off the table, John. I think at some point you got to look at everything. In fact, 100%. Hear this one. Even though I already told you why I don't know if the Knicks can win consistently in the future with Julius, like kind of take the team to the next level, I'm not opposed to making the decision that if RJ doesn't continue to play better basketball, he's been playing well now, but if he doesn't continue to play better basketball, and if Julius continues to play better basketball, I wouldn't mind doing the reverse and keeping Randle and getting rid of RJ. Like, you got to do whatever.
But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that because there's more upside with RJ's game.
And that's why possibly you might get something better for getting rid of RJ.
You could, but Randle's the sure bet, right? Because teams know what you're going to get with Randle.
Right.
So for teams, you're looking at him, you're like, yeah, there's a possibility with RJ that he could be that guy, or maybe not, because he doesn't shoot it efficiently enough from the field right now. Where with Randle, you could see it, you know what you're getting. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and this is let's talk about Josh's question here, and this is important because I think he hits it on the nose. This could be a direction that the front office is taking. In all actuality, it could be.
So let me just read his question. He said, "So Josh, aka UncleFoolio, salute to you. Good to see you, my brother, as always. And shout out to Knicks for life. Chuck Allen in the building. What's
Appreciate
good?
you.
Yeah, and just want to say, Chuck, I'm not saying that that's what they should do. I'm saying that this front office needs to be in the mindset that we are going to do whatever we need to do to make this team better. Right. That's what I'm saying. At some point, you got to say, you know what, everybody. It doesn't matter.
Anyone should be up for grabs. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you haven't epitomized a franchise player as of yet in your career within this team, then listen, any one of y'all can go.
Yeah, exactly. Josh said, question, do you think it was the plan all along for the Knicks to sign the vets to short contracts to get the young guys ready? 7 of 9 players in the rotation were drafted. Yes, I kind of think that was the plan. I think that's I don't think the front office didn't have a plan. I think they had a plan. My issue is not necessarily the thinking. It's if they stuck to the thinking from whatever that was the initial plan. I don't know what it was. If they stuck to it, then great. But the issue for me is the type of guys that you bring in. Okay, there's nothing wrong with saying we're going to sign these guys, these vets, to these small contracts with team-friendly options and draft youth and then try to cultivate and develop them and get them to the point where then we can move off of these guys and then just fill in with the pieces that help us get better because the youth has gotten better and we can win with them. The point is the young guys that you bring in, are these the right young guys? The verdict's still out. We don't know what Obi is really. We still don't know. We kind of know what IQ is, but is IQ what you thought IQ was? I thought IQ was a sharpshooter.
Let's take it a little deeper. Can we go into how, like, these are all good character individuals?
Well, that's
which
true.
We didn't have in years past, right?
That's true too.
Think about those teams where we had guys who come in and they were just not good character people. Not all of them. You brought in a bunch of good character guys, and that's number one. That shifts the culture. You know what I mean? Now that shifts the culture, now you have a coach who has buy-in by these young players. When given an opportunity, they're coming in and they're playing and they're hustling and they put in the effort and the work, and it's showing up now on the court. Now you can rely on them. Now at some point you have to figure out who can you rely on offensively to take the next step, because you have to have that option once you move away from Randle. If you move away from Randle, you're losing 20-8. Who's gonna fill that role? Because you can't tell me Obi automatically is gonna come back from his injury and fill that role. I can't be confident in that. You know what I mean? Like, just not.
Yeah. Sometimes though, sometimes you want to have a good mix of really good high character guys, a couple question marks, because sometimes those question marks could be the most talented on your roster. It's a problem when you go all high character. I'm not saying I would do that. I'm just saying that, like, that's what happens sometimes.
But what do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Meaning
by that?
like Anthony Edwards, for example. Not that he's a bad person, but he's a little bit more,
Edgy?
shock and awe, edgy. Yeah, a little more edgy. And so when you stay away from those guys totally, then you also can lose out on a dynamic type player, because some of those edgy type players, the talent, talent wise, right?
Talent level, right. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. Yeah, it isn't far fetched that most talented players have an edge to them, or they come from, surroundings that made them the grit that they are. Right, they have that grit around their game that they're willing to do whatever it takes to get to the basket and score buckets, because that's what they do. You know what I mean? There's an edge around those guys, but you could still say the same on the defensive side for guys like Grimes and Deuce, because they play with an edge. It's just not on the offensive side. It's on the defensive side.
Right.
Now you need to equate that with someone who has it on the offensive side.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
Just look for that guy.
If we can find them, if they're out there, if we can find them,
they're out there.
But
I mean, you could draft. You could, yeah. You listen. There's potential in the draft. You know what I mean? There's potential in the draft. You just gotta. Now that you got your defensive guys that you are locked and keyed with, then start focusing on who you can bring in that brings in the offensive punch.
All right. That makes sense to me. Shout out to Geraldine McIver. Salute to you, First Lady of Still Knicks fans and the Knicks community. Let's go. Appreciate you as always. Good to see you, Geraldine. D Coolest 718 is in the building. Good to see you, my brother. Angel Torres is here. Salute.
Yes, sir.
East Blue Drew is in the building. What's good?
Appreciate you all.
Appreciate y'all. What's going on? David L is in the building. He said this defense is fire. Yes, they have been playing really good lately. And Knicks for life, Chuck Allen. He said, yes, choir boys, all they want to do is play ball and go home. And that sometimes the high character might lend to the point where we say some of these guys look kind of soft out there. They don't have that pit bull. They don't have that thing. I don't know. I'm not saying that. On the
offensive side, though.
Well, even on defense, Obi don't have no pit bull.
That's
RJ don't have no pit bull.
But on the offensive side, right? Like he has that pit bull mentality on the offensive side. No, you don't see it.
No,
the 27 he just put the other day wasn't enough.
That's just him being aggressive to the paint. But what I like to see from RJ is being able to go up strong.
He's a pit bull with no athleticism. That's what he is. He doesn't have athleticism.
He just don't give me. He don't give me. He's too nice. He's a nice guy. Nothing wrong with that. He's a little vanilla. And I like vanilla. It's good. You know, people like chocolate. I'm a vanilla guy. But I'm just saying, okay, whatever. Different story. All right. We got off topic, folks. Let's get back to this. So let's get to the point because this show is starting to run a little long and I want to get everybody out of here. I know it's getting late.
You know what it is? Because we haven't talked in so long as a
It's
full
true.
group.
We haven't had the three amigos.
Haven't had the full three amigos.
So before we get to the predictions, Jose, get ready. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, you got the sound effects. But the other thing I did want to talk about, because I do want to praise the guy. I'm mad at him because he got thrown out, but I want to praise him too. Because our peak performer, has been playing very well in these last 4 games, sparking the offensive excellence of what we've been doing, and also being a big part on the defensive end as well, doing what he's got to do to help the team. Julius Randle's been great, and that's why he's our peak performer from the last game. Let's go.
100%.
Look at Julius. Look at him.
Look, attacking the rim.
Look at him attacking the rim. Exactly. I like how he's playing.
Look at that defense.
Getting out in transition.
Getting those hands ready. See?
Duncan. Gotta like it. Running the court. He got that smile. He's got that, everything's good. The rim looked like a big old huge bucket. This play was interesting. Look at that. Oh, pull up right in your face. Cash. Gotta love it. Right here, physical. To the rim. One of these is going to get crazy. Is it this one coming up? One of these is going to get crazy. Step back, Cash. Julius is definitely feeling it right now. I think this is it. Let's see how he takes this guy off the dribble. No, that's not it. That's the and one. Another good shot. He has a good touch right now.
Contract. Yeah.
Back down, fall away. Look, he hit one on the and one. He hit another one. Exactly.
Down in the block. Ain't too many players can defend that.
Oh, there it is. Here it is. Look, he could have took that dude out, B. He came in with the knee and everything.
Hey, listen, he moved right into that knee. He ran right into that.
Another step back, Cash. Look at this. He was cooking. Okay, Julius. Yeah, I think that's it. Is there another one?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that was it. Okay, so man, Julius was cooking. He looked really good, man. Shout out to him doing his thing. He's been playing really well. I hope that this little thing getting thrown out the game doesn't take him out of his mental rhythm. You know what I mean? Right. It shouldn't.
It shouldn't,
but I hope it doesn't. Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys. Well, I think it's that time, folks. I think it's that time. We haven't done it in a minute. Oh, here it is. The silence is deafening.
Wait for it.
There he goes.
What's up, fellas? You guys miss me?
What up, Jose?
Yes.
Of course we
What's
missed
up,
you,
Jose?
man.
What's going on?
What's happening?
Not much, man. Just been sitting here in the corner waiting for this moment. You guys told me to stay quiet for the last 2 weeks, so that's what I've been doing.
We haven't given him time to shine.
Sorry, bro. Look, this is your time, man. Let it loose, man. All that you built up for 2 weeks, it's your time.
There you
Let's
go.
go, Jose. Get it all out. There you go.
Cool. That was all improv. Well, I know
That's
you know.
good stuff.
Listen, we don't have a king of predictions because we have taken a break from the predictions, unfortunately.
Life
But you
happens.
know what? Yep, life happens. But you know what? We're still here together. We're happy to be back. And guess what? We brought back the predictions.
That's right.
Let's go. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I know the fans are excited for this. I mean, listen, guys. I ain't trying to say nothing, but we got 3 games this week. 2 of them are against the same team back to back. I ain't got no curveball today. Jose's in timeout. Nah, I was, but now I'm back. They were waiting for me. They've been waiting, and I came back.
This guy's so dramatic this week, folks.
Right? Right? And then when it comes to next week, it's going to be...
Some of the same. Some of the same.
Yeah, that's
Listen.
all right.
But look, we got 3 games happening this week. It is time for your predictions. No curveball. This is all you guys. So you have the option to either say it out loud and persuade the other one to change their initial thoughts, or you could text me your prediction. Actually, no, forget it. I don't want to see no text. So you guys can just say it out loud.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm taking
There we go.
control today.
Woo.
Yeah.
3-0.
Oh, David
2-1?
L saying 3-0.
I'm going with David L. I'm going with David L. I'm going with David L.
Uh-oh. Are you sure?
That's not what I said earlier. Right?
That's not what.
Right,
That's not
yeah.
what you said earlier.
Yeah,
Right?
that's not
I
what he said.
We'll lose one.
My man said it earlier. That was like 15 minutes ago, but all right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh boy, how quickly things change.
How quickly they forget.
I mean, we got another 3-0. We got another 3-0, so I don't know. Maybe you
They
guys
saying
want to.
3-0. How many 3-0s can we get in the chat? How many of y'all
All right,
think we
listen.
could go 3-0?
Listen, you lock it in, buddy. You lock it in. That's what I want. I'm waiting for the lock in.
718 is 3-0 too.
You see, Angel's more calm. He's like 2-1.
2-1. Okay, 3-0. Another one.
But
Knicks
I-
for life.
You know what? This is for the fans right now. They got that confidence.
Let's go.
But the fans are just the fans. You guys have to make that decision.
Yeah, man.
So who would like to go
all right,
first?
John. So what is that? What you? I mean, I think John already put it out there.
Right. John already put it out there. You know what, John?
I didn't lock it in.
Oh, here we go.
No, I'm going 2-1. 2-1. Lock it in. Because I'm trying to win that steak dinner again.
2-1. Okay. So 2 wins against the Bulls.
No. I'm going 1 win against the Bulls,
Which one?
the first one.
Okay.
Then a loss.
Ooh. And
Then you know what? Switch that for me.
oh,
Loss, win. Loss, win.
loss, win. Okay. So you
'Cause
feel
we're
like
at Chicago.
right, and you also feel like maybe the Knicks needs to lose one in order to start winning again. Is
I
that what
hope
you're
so.
trying to say?
I hope
What
so.
kind of fan are you? Anyway, Ron, let's go to you, man.
Okay, I'm going win versus the Bulls first game. Loss versus the Bulls the second game. And
Ooh.
win versus Indiana in that matchup. So win, loss, win.
Okay, so you need them to win 5 games, then take the loss, and then start winning again.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I mean, it is what it is, fellas. There's no changing or anything. This is just locked in. That's it. Everybody on the chat, you guys can take a screenshot. Maybe they didn't agree with your predictions, but we have to go with what Ron and John say. We're gonna figure out who the king is next week. I mean, other than that, thank you guys for taking me out of timeout. With that being said,
Hey, fist bump.
I catch you guys next week. Peace.
All right, brother. Hey, man.
You know what the great thing about next week's show is going to be?
What's that?
I'm not going to be here to hear who won.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. Because he's gonna be on vacation, holiday.
Woo! Come on, give it up, give it up, give it up.
No, whatever.
Wait, I don't get to go on vacation for another 2 weeks, so nah, forget that.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Jose. Me too. That's why I'm like, I forget this dude.
You guys went on your vacations already, man. I held off.
Nah, man, I deserve another one. I always take my little holiday week off. It's a
I hear
perfect
that.
time. It's coming. Anyway, yeah, man, this has been a really great show, a very long show, but you know what? You guys deserve that, man. We haven't been around for a little bit, like John said, the three of
Yeah.
us. So glad to be back, glad to be full strength, even though we're about to not be full strength next week. But thank you, John. Anyway,
Yeah. Listen, it's unfortunate.
that's how life is, B.
Can't take you to Disney with me,
Yeah. Hey, shh, don't let the cat out the bag. They could be hearing.
Oh, that's
They
true.
should be sleeping. They should be sleeping.
No,
but-
over here.
Anyway, all right, guys. So, listen, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a pleasure having you guys. Another great show. You guys have a fantastic rest of your evening. Mike Boy in the building. I see you, Mike Boy. What's good? Yeah, man. But this has been great, and hopefully the Knicks can listen. I'm hoping 3-0. I hope the Knicks keep this streak going. What
That'd be
David
great.
L said, and what others might have said. Listen, if they can go, 10-0 or whatever, hey, by all means, that'd be fantastic. I still
That'd be
want
great.
Tibbs to go to the unemployment line, but that's just me. I'm sorry. All right, look, okay, I'm done. All right, John, any final words?
Man, as always, stay blessed out there. Be safe, and looking forward to the next one, which will be in like the new year. The new year.
Well, actually,
year.
yes, on the new, but we will get another NBA report out of you, or no?
Yeah, well, I'll be there for the NBA report. NBA report.
Let's go. All right,
And then we're
so,
still
yeah,
Knicks
guys,
fans in the new year.
there you go. So, guys, tune into the NBA report this Thursday at 8 p.m. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys on the next show. And Geraldine, I already mentioned it earlier. You weren't here. Thank you once again. Thank you. I appreciate the love and support and the well wishes from my
All the
wife.
time.
She's definitely getting a little bit better, but she's not quite where she needs to be as of yet. We're just gonna keep working, and in time with prayers and hopefully continued blessings from everyone. That will continue to get better and evolve. So thank you. Appreciate the well wishes. As I always say, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend, still Knicks fans. We'll be back again, so definitely tune in and look for us this Thursday NBA report on MBK at 8 p.m. And then Know the Ledge this Saturday, 11 a.m. I'll be rocking, holding it down. But shout out to everybody, and shout out to my guy back in full effect, full strength, Jose on the ones and twos. Let's go, Jose. That's right. Thank you guys as always. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your night. And listen, let's go Knicks. If nothing else, right? I don't know. I'm hoping for the best. I'm being positive. I'm hoping for the best. Okay. All right. We're out of here, guys.
Peace.
Freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.